your hands out of your pockets now.
I got stuff in my hand.
What started as one officer engaging with a black man over a routine parking violation turns violent in an instant.
Taser, taser, taser!
Milwaukee Bucks player Sterling Brown tased on the ground, surrounded by police officers, all in a matter of minutes. The incident caught on police body cameras. For many, this once again highlights the everyday dangers faced by black men in this country. The incident began in the early morning hours of January 26th. According to the police report, an officer from the Milwaukee Police Department was doing a business check at a Walgreens on the south side of Milwaukee. He then spotted a Mercedes parked horizontally across two handicapped spaces. In the officer's report, the driver of that car was Sterling Brown.
How you doing? You got a driver's license? Where's that? Where's your driver's license? Back up. You don't see the issue here? Hold on. You don't see the issue here. You're not parked across 3 lanes?
The officer then calls for backup.
Can't get another squad here.
According to the police report, the officer asks Brown repeatedly to step back, but Brown refuses, becoming, quote, very aggressive.
What's your name?
But in the body cam video, Brown appears calm.
These are simple questions, man.
No, I'm answering.
These are simple questions, and you're being all badass to me, all right? These are legitimate questions, right?
I ain't got no problem with it.
Okay, well, you look at me like I got something growing out of my head, all right?
I'm just saying, you touched me. That's the initial.
Right, because you got up in my face, okay?
I got up in your face.
Right.
Really.
I asked you to back up, and you did not do it. I asked you to back up, and you did not do it. You backed up about 3 inches, all right? Everything I'm doing is on camera, dude.
Then several law enforcement officers arrive on the scene.
I just wanted one.
Appearing to surprise even the initial officer.
All I wanted was one extra.
The fact that so many showed up really speaks to the tone deafness of the officers on the scene, not realizing that their presence, in a way, it causes escalation. If you're going to take enforcement action on such a low-level crime like illegal parking, write the citation and be done with it.
Meanwhile, Brown is questioned by 2 other officers, the situation seemingly under control. But just a few minutes later, more officers are seen surrounding him, and then...
I got stuff in my hand.
In that police report, the officer writes that Brown, quote, physically resisted officers' attempts to handcuff him, and he was taken to the ground in a controlled manner. But the video appears to tell a very different story. Just seconds after asking Brown to take his hands out of his pockets, officers tackle him to the ground.
The report and the facts put in that arrest report don't support what we see on video, that Mr. Brown actually was just standing there complying as best he could.
The report also states, quote, a taser had to be employed to get Brown in control with handcuffs.
Taser, taser, taser!
It boggles your mind because you wonder, how do we end up hands-on, physically grappling on the ground with Mr. Brown and then ultimately tasing him? And tasing someone for a low-level crime without any visual evidence of resistance is just not appropriate under any circumstance.
Brown is then arrested on possible misdemeanor charges of resisting or obstructing an officer. He was briefly jailed but never charged with any crime. 18 hours later, he would play in this game against the Brooklyn Nets. He could be seen during warm-ups with visible bruises and marks on his face.
Are you able to confirm if, the bruise and scab on the side of your face is from that incident?
I mean, like I said, it's an issue I'm dealing with right now. I mean, that's all I really want to say right now.
Brown's arrest would later become the subject of an internal investigation at the Milwaukee Police Department. Then Police Chief Ed Flynn launched a review into the officer's response.
What we want to do is ascertain how a parking ticket turned into a tasing.
Today, the new chief revealing the results of that review.
Our department conducted an investigation into the incident which revealed members acted inappropriately, and those members were recently disciplined.
Brown has now hired attorney Mark Thompson. The NBA star plans to file a lawsuit against the Milwaukee PD and has released this statement on Twitter. What should have been a simple parking ticket turned into an attempt at police intimidation, followed by the unlawful use of physical force, including being handcuffed and tased, and then unlawfully booked. This experience with the Milwaukee Police Department has forced me to stand up and tell my story so that I can help prevent these injustices from happening in the future.
Brown's, at this point, got a good civil rights lawsuit. What he essentially is saying is, my civil rights were violated through the use of this excessive force by police officers.
In the days leading up to today's release of the body camera footage, police had been reportedly bracing for a possible backlash. Just yesterday, they released this video.
The most valuable thing in a community like ours is trust.
Invoking the need to rebuild trust between the community and the officers who serve it.
So if there is ever an incident where one of our members makes a mistake, unnecessarily escalating a situation, I'm going to be honest and transparent about it. In those instances where we have made mistakes and are wrong, I'm sorry.
Today, Police Chief Morales reiterated that message.
The men and women of the Milwaukee Police Department are dedicated to protecting and serving the citizens of Milwaukee. Understand that we have hundreds of interactions with citizens each day, and those contacts end positively.
And tonight, the Milwaukee Bucks issuing this statement saying the abuse and intimidation that Sterling experienced at the hands of Milwaukee police was shameful and inexcusable. It shouldn't require an incident involving a professional athlete to draw attention to the fact that vulnerable people in our communities have experienced similar and even worse treatment.
You know, what's shocking about this is whether you're a regular guy or you're Sterling Brown, an NBA player, it seems to say you could still be a victim of police violence. Why doesn't it stop?
Taser, taser!
It is this type of use of force that Colin Kaepernick was referring to nearly 2 years ago when he first sat on the bench during the national anthem at an NFL game.
A reporter came to him and said, "Why aren't you sitting?" He mentioned that it was because of issues that were important to him, social justice, and he wanted to show the fact that he didn't like what he was seeing on police brutality.
How can you stand for the national anthem of a nation that preaches and propagates freedom and justice for all? That is so unjust to so many of the people living there.
Many of Kaepernick's colleagues followed suit by taking a knee, and soon kneeling during the anthem became a hotly contested issue, with many people weighing in, including President Trump.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, "Get that off the field right now, out, he's fired"?
And just today,
we made modifications to our anthem policy.
The NFL took a stand on the issue, mandating that players and personnel on the field must stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem.
Clearly, our objective as a league and to all 32 clubs, which was unanimous, is that we want people to be respectful to the national anthem.
But the policy does give those who wish to protest one choice. If you don't want to stand, you can stay in the locker room until the song is over.
While the owners may look at it like sitting in the locker room may help you make your point, I think there's players out there that are going to say what you're doing is trying to quiet what we're trying to say and what we're trying to change about what we feel are some of the wrongs of society. It's ironic that on the day that the NFL makes the rule change about the anthem, that we see Sterling Brown being wrestled to the ground, the very thing that Colin Kaepernick was speaking out about.
No matter where you stand on this controversial issue, this new video of an NBA star being tased is potent evidence that the issue of race and policing is not going away anytime soon. And tonight, the mayor of Milwaukee has vowed the city, quote, has to do better and will do better.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.